Stefano Pioli, your contract. What's up guys, here for a late reaction to Milan 2, Fiorentina 1 and Juventus 0, Como 2. Big day in Serie A for the title race, to align the title race a little bit more of who the real challengers are for the Scudetto. So leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Where shall we start off? Let's start off with Juve first. Nico Tudor, similar, not as bad as Pioli, but similar to Pioli. He's a man under pressure already. Matchday 7, and he's a man under pressure. Some Juve fans are already calling for his head, according to the reports. Comolli, the Juventus, what is he actually? CEO? Sporting director? Not really quite sure. But apparently he's already not got a very good working relationship with him. We know in the summer he wasn't really number one choice for Juve. They wanted a Conte. They waited until kind of the club woke up. Like, are you gonna stay? Are you gonna be temporary? He's a club legend, so the Juve fans like him. His past, he's had some good coaching jobs. You know, he did well at Marseille. He did very well at Hellas Verona. He did not so well at Lazio. Not really the greatest track record, and spent a lot of money in the summer again, which I should make probably a separate video on this. Juve's financial fair play issues are going to be coming up because they've missed, once again, financial fair play targets. Their losses have been a lot higher than the 60 million euro accumulated that they should be for a 3-year period, because every summer they splash out regardless of what their financial condition is. And yeah, we put all that, and then yes, in the summer as well, we talked about it in the summer window when we were judging or rating the mercatos. Up front, they made some interesting moves, which I was also maybe overrating. I saw a lot of people, maybe we overrated, like the Openda move, the Jonathan David move. I did like that move, but at the moment that's also looking not particularly good. And then they didn't invest at the back, because as soon as Bremer's gone, it's a different Juve. It's a Juve with Bremer, which can probably compete for the Scudetto like they even did under Thiago Motta. And then there's a Juve without Bremer, which is just a top 4 at best Juve, which it looks like could be at the moment. It's the Nico Paz show as usual. 1 goal, 1 assist. That guy is just going clear. I don't even know how he's going to fit into Real Madrid next year, because they got Mastantuono, Guler, Endrick, like just Mastantuono and Guler, actually, just speaking on those two left-footed wingers, attacking midfielders, mezzalas. How is that going to fit in? But let's enjoy Nico Paz whilst he is in Serie A, because he is such a special player, which obviously as an Inter fan we were linked to him for so long. Zanetti was taking him out for dinner, taking his dad out for dinner because they're friends, but that all amounted to nothing. We just have to enjoy him from a distance. It says Fabregas is Como. We can enjoy from a distance the new hipster's favorite team in Serie A. It used to be Atalanta, you know, the Zerbi, Sassuolo. There's always one every season. Italiano's Bologna, or Thiago Motta's Bologna. This season, it's Como. Even though they're not a fairy tale, they're not a Cinderella story by any means. They are a very interesting team, though, the way they do things, the ownership, the city, the lake, the stadium, all of that stuff. But but actually they're a little bit, I think people judge them incorrectly. They seem to think, because it says Fabregas, a Barcelona guy, tiki-taka in theory, and even Como themselves on their social media have been posting these kind of like clips of their play, very nice play, but they're actually a very, very physical team. Do not be fooled by says Fabregas as Como. They're not a tiki-taka team. They're not a possession, you know, just possession for possession's sake. They're actually they remind me more of Gasperini's Atalanta. Like, they go for an aggressive man-for-man press. They don't let you breathe. They duel all over the pitch. Yesterday they didn't let Juve breathe for 1 minute. Battles all over the pitch. The game stopped so many times because of fouls, head injuries. Yeah, they're not just a pretty team. That Como team are going to be trouble for big teams this season. They already have proven to be big trouble. They beat Lazio, they beat Juve. Last season, actually, they were losing all their big games. Inter, we beat them both times, but this season I think it's going to be tricky, going especially away to Como, but also hosting them is not going to be as easy. But yeah, Juve, Jonathan David still not firing. Vlahovic had his usual 2 or 3 weeks at the start of the season of firing, and then now he's gone cold. Openda looks like an absolute flop at the moment. Yildiz looks like he's ready to run out of steam because it's Yildiz and Inshallah, or Conceição and Inshallah. Tudor tried to change things around with 4 at the back yesterday because of all the injuries, and then they got the first loss of the season. It's not looking good. It's really not looking good. And then next up they got Real Madrid in the Champions League, which is far from the ideal game to turn things around. But remember last season, even Fonseca's Milan, in all their difficulties, went to the Bernabeu and won. So could be one of those shock results that gives Tudor a lifeline to continue for at least a few more weeks, because I think he's going to be given at least a little bit of time, because there's no one really available. The only real managers that are available on the market free at the moment are Roberto Mancini and Spalletti. Again, I don't know if they're going to be really their long-term options. They would be kind of like short-term, but would those two guys want to have short-term options? Usually Roberto Mancini never goes for that. And Spalletti, I feel like the next job is probably going to be his last one before he hangs up his, or what do you call it for a coach? He doesn't hang up his boots. Where does he hang up his tactical board? His notepad? I don't know, but you know what I mean. So that's Juve, who are 8th, I think, in the table at the moment. Let's move on to Milan. Fiorentina. I had zero expectation for Fiorentina, but actually they won 1-0 up. They won 1-0 up somehow. Robin Gosens, former Inter player, he's always a threat on the far post, and he was once again last night. Tap in literally from 1 yard out. We would take those, but they couldn't hold on. They just, in the first half, I was watching the game and I checked the stats at half time. It was 0-0, but Fiorentina had 0 shots at half time and 0 XG, nothing, created absolutely nothing. And I talked about it in my transfer. Remember, again, talking about rating transfer windows, I felt like this one thing I got right there. I felt like people were overrating Fiorentina's transfer window. Yes, on paper it looked nice, like Dzeko, Fazzini, Simon Som, but as I was saying at the time, it doesn't really move the needle, and actually somehow they've actually gone backwards from last season. It's also making Italiano and Palladino's work look a lot better now since Pioli's come in, because yes, okay, it wasn't a great window, but they shouldn't be in the relegation zone that they are in that right now. I think the only thing that's going to save Pioli is how expensive his contract is. He earns a lot of money coming from the Saudi league. I don't know if there's a release clause, like a get out clause. I know he's got a good relationship with Fiorentina in general, because there was, you know, he was there at the time when their captain Astori, remember, a few years back, passed away. He weathered the storm with the team, with the club. Like, it became a whole family feel with Pioli, which is, I think, why he went back with Firenze, Florence, the city. So I feel like if he's a real man, if he really feels that connection with Fiorentina, he might have to quit himself. So he foregoes the money that he's owed by Fiorentina, because it's not looking good at the moment. He doesn't know what formation he wants. He started off the season with kind of like a 3-4-2-1, 3-4-1-2. Last night he was a 3-5-2. He doesn't know who his starting midfield is. He doesn't know who his front line is. Obviously he's Moise Kean plus someone. Last night he tried Moise Kean plus Fazzini in behind. The PIOLI signing, to me, again, I keep going on about it, I felt like it was the flop of the season signing. I think I might be correct on that one at the moment. They just don't have any ideas. They had, after the goal, there was a shot from Dodò, couple of half chances here and there, but they just don't create anything, Fiorentina, which is actually kind of surprising with Pioli. At least you'd think maybe they leak goals, but at least they'll be good going forward, but they're not. They look shaky at the back, and they end up conceding such a stupid penalty at the end. Parisi, who has not developed the last 2-3 years since he's moved to Fiorentina. He was, you know, one of the top talents coming out of the Italian system a few years back from Empoli. But pretty much, as Fiorentina fans, pretty much every time this guy starts, he makes at least one big mistake defensively. And last night, it was a soft penalty. We gotta say that. Santi Jimenez rolling around like Parisi shot him in the face. Embarrassing, but soft penalty. Very poor defending in general. Fiorentina, this didn't look like they were gonna hold on to the point. And Rafa Leao coming back, big story. Seemed like he was going back at Pongracic, who was the Fiorentina defender, kind of going back and forth with him in the game after a few fouls, and then he shut him up, and then he took the penalty as well. So fair play to Rafa Leao. Yeah, Allegri's train keeps on going, and it's going to be interesting when Pulisic comes back from injury. Like, how's that front line for Milan going to look? Leao, Pulisic, almost like two false nines, two guys roaming around. They're looking good, man. They're solid. So defensively, he sorted out Pavlovic, he sorted out Gabbia, he sorted out Tomori. Magnan looks to be back at his level. Bartezaghi looks good. Modric just keeps balling. Salamakers, wherever you put him, he's working. They are going to be competing for the Scudetto. As we said since the start of the season, 1 game a week. Allegri, it's looking good. It's looking good. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments down below as always. What do you think of this match day? What do you think of Juve, Tudor? What do you think of Milan, Allegri, Pioli, Fiorentina? As always, thank you for watching. Ciao ragazzi, forza Serie A.